end zone?
I think just the details in practice. We pay real good attention just to details, communication before, pre-snap, post-snap, and just overall just being a communicative defense. It's better as a unit that we can talk and, get through plays together. Just get through plays together. It's a lot easier as a defense. So that's what has helped these past couple games. Just talking, communicating a lot better, making it easier for each other,
You had a pretty good game today, especially in coverage. How are you able to kind of, lock down maybe those top two receivers?
It's just every day being consistent. Bryce Lewis, just he harps on just being consistent every day, going in and doing the job, doing the details, being on top of the details. And the past couple of weeks, I've just been steady, just trying to one day at a time. And I'm able and blessed to be able to have a good day today.
And we kind of touch on it with the red zone defense, but you guys give some chunk plays at times. You got them in the red zone, but then bounce back, force a field goal. What's really going through your mind, to try and erase that and just play ball in plays?
Just the bend don't break mentality. You know what I'm saying? As a defense, just to be able to maybe give up something, an error, and be able to bounce back as a unit and handle those and just correct on the small things we may have mishapped on and messed up on it before, and just bounce back and be able to play ball together because we're a unit.
Going into this game, the quarterback question for Missouri State, preparing for two different quarterbacks. How do you think you prepared for Deuce Bailey, collectively holding him to 20 points?
We prepared very well. We just went out, watched film, and really paid attention to maybe we would have got 12, maybe we would have got Deuce. We just really just came out and game plan for both, because you never know. And practice throughout the week was very intensive on both of them. And so we was able to be very good as a defense, as a collective, to take advantage of those opportunities we was given.
As one of the more veteran players on this team, you get 2 more weeks and you get to go on the road to Delaware. How do you bounce back from a game like this?
Sit down, take some time, just think about it, or look at the film. We're going to look at the film tomorrow, and just see how we can progress. We can continue to keep progressing, Every game we've progressed as a defense, we've progressed as a team. Now we get 2 weeks to just see it, lock onto it, correct the details, and come out fast, come out hard when we go play Delaware.
What are kind of some of those things you're talking about progressing? What is this defense missing? It's hard to really pinpoint that as good as you guys have been, but is there any areas that you think that you guys could be improving? Just
communication. As a unit, we have to be better communicating, talking, being a stronger vocal team. Earlier in the season, communication wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad. It just could have been better. It's a lot of things that, it just couldn't be better as a defense. But communication is progressively getting better every week. And that's just throughout practice. Just this week, it was just communication. Communication pre-snap, communication post-snap, communication during the play, just so we're all on the same page. We do well together, we fail together, everybody on the same page.
You got middle linebacker Alex Mitchell back tonight. Do you feel like he helped with the communication, and what impressed you with him coming back so quickly?
Definitely. Alex definitely came in and he talked to us, and he was able to give us that oomph that we needed, that we may have missed from him being out a few weeks. He definitely just came out with a burst of energy, flying around, just making plays like he always does, So it was good to have him back.
Anything else for Jari? Jari, you good?
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. All right, guys, wide receiver Cam Lacey.
Yeah, come on.
All right, Cam, 114 yards, career high for you. That's off of just last week whenever you're continuing to build off that last week. What's going through your mind right now with this clicking tonight on the field?
First off, all glory to God. Next, I just come to work every day, do what I'm supposed to do. Then my teammates, they helped me get to that. My offensive coordinator, my coaches, we just worked. So the only thing going through my mind is it wasn't unexpected, because that's what I worked for all week, all my life playing this game. So yeah, it was just expected.
Big 50-plus yard touchdown in the second quarter to get you guys ahead. Just kind of talk about that play and how you're able to get so open and, make the touchdown.
First off, I was able to get so open because of my O-line. Like we've been preaching all week, ride the bull. That means like stay on the blocks longer. So they allowed me to have that much time to get the separation that I needed, and then Nick threw a great ball. So it was just easy. All I had to do was catch it.
Slow start to you this season, but the last two games, I think 97 yards last week and then 114, 2 touchdowns today. How good does that feel to bounce back and have big games for your team back-to-back weeks?
It feels great, I guess, but we not winning the game, so like that only goes so far, Like I'd rather win and have 0 stats than have a great game and lose the game. That's the type of player I've always been.
Cam, like you touched on a little bit earlier, you kind of rose, up the stat sheet the last couple of weeks. How has, just your chemistry with Nick just developed over the last couple of weeks?
Well, over the last couple of weeks, it kind of go back to my freshman year. When I first came here in 2023, I was with Nick. So like it goes way back. So now I'm just happy that we get to show the world about the connection.
You mentioned you guys aren't winning games. What are you guys missing, and how do you fix that going forward?
I don't feel like there's not many teams we played this year that just came on the field and beat us. Like I feel like we beat ourselves. It's like the details that we've been talking about all week. We just got to put it together on both sides of the ball, and that's how we put the next foot forward to go actually win. It's the small things of why we're losing the game. Whether it's like a play that happened in the first quarter or maybe a play in the fourth, it's always like a small detail, little play like throughout the game. Like we didn't just lose that game because of a missed field goal kick. We lost that game way before that kick.
Anything else for Cam?
Thanks.
All right, Cam.
Appreciate y'all.
Opening comment, and then he'll be available for your questions.
Yeah. Tough loss, like for this group tonight. You look at this in ball game, and we've had our fair share of opportunities in these last couple of games, and like to come up short, you can look at a lot of things in it. Unfortunately, like for us, seems like same feeling and same result. And like for this, I thought defensively played hard. Special teams, we left some loose change, went out there, and then offensively, it wasn't enough. Altogether, it wasn't enough. And I told our team, the outcome changes when we make it so. You can only be close for so long. I told them, I'll put this on my shoulders. I'll work harder. I'll be better. because I need them to. I need them to work harder. I need us to be better, like in situations, whatever that looks like. You know, there are no rah-rah speeches. There are no, you know, antidotes for having to win tough games. You know, this is football, and it's always been that way. Yeah, did it come down to a field goal? It came down to a long field goal. Would have liked to have hit it. You know, would have felt great. Would have made the outcome seem different, but you didn't get it, and you know what? You sort of feel like you're right back where you were, and so for this team, you know, I told these guys, man, we're going to take a little time off. We're going to assess it. We're going to get back to work, and then what we got to do on the other side of this bye is go to Delaware and find a way to win. But hats off to Missouri State. They found a way to make a couple more plays than we did, and we were down and light like some players tonight. But that wasn't the reason why we lost this ball game. We lost this ball game because just didn't do enough. So with that being said, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, obviously a tough game to drop. You know, how frustrating is that to lose the way you guys did? What was the message to kind of rally the troops and tell them, just put it past you and go into next week, try to go 1-0?
I said, I'll put it on my shoulders, right? I mean, I don't need you looking down on social media and paying attention to things that really don't matter because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, man, people have a right to an opinion. They really do. I mean, look, man, they're fans and they want to see us be successful too. You know, I've got to do a better job, you know, and part of it is keeping these guys focused and keeping the main thing, right? You know, you can look at stats and stats just, I mean, you can win the stat line and still lose, and that's what it's been. So, you know, we've got to be better in the space that we're in. We got to work a little harder, and we got to grind a little more. Neither team had a turnover, but the reality of it is, you know, just not enough positive plays. So offensively, got to get back to work. Special teams, man, we'll find a way to flip the field a little more, and then get them in defensively, got to get a takeaway.
One of the positives was your defense did a pretty good job at bending but not breaking.
Yeah.
You know, just talk about that unit and how that big was. How big was that for them to come up and do that?
Yeah, I mean, they were short. They were short some players. I mean, when you look at it, you lose Abdul Muhammad, you know, in that ball game. When you lose Kalen Woods in that ball game, and you're trying to find a way, you know, like to get off the field. Like when I looked at it at halftime, I think they were 4-8. You know, on third down, you know, sitting at 50%. And second half, we got them off the field. So we just didn't turn that into points. So I think the defense, you know, had a better second half. You know, obviously, you know, like working to slow that group down. The biggest thing that we got to be able to do is play a connected game. And it is offense to defense to special teams. Because what happens is, you know, there's going to be some times, man, where we need, you know, our offense to be able to, you know, score points like we did tonight. You know, we needed points, and kicking field goals is not the way. So we just have to make sure we don't point fingers. We got to look at the things that we do well. We got to continue to encourage doing those things well, and hopefully the trickle effect of continuing to, you know, push and break through leads us to a different place.
Derek, how concerned are you with the attitude of the team, the outlook? Are you concerned about that? You mentioned social media. Would you rather get back on the field next week or?
Nah, social media is social media. It's here to stay, right? Yeah. I mean, I mean, our kids are going to look at it whether I tell them to or not. I just have to make sure, man, that I frame the messaging like the way I need to. It's easy to fracture. And like I told these guys in the locker room, I mean, it's not about pointing fingers. You know, I mean, you're a Blue Raider, and this is a tough time. So what we have to do, man, is find a way to lean into each other. Like I said, I'll take it. I've been through this like a little bit. So like for me, I want these dudes to lean into the adversity. That means leaning into me, put it on my shoulders, and that's okay. They're going to be fine.
Coach, obviously, you know, you would like to have seen Jacob hit the 50-yarder in his range at the end of the game. But was there maybe a thought after the fact of playing it more aggressively to try to get it a little bit closer?
Yeah, you know, listen, you thought maybe that you may hit it on the first run, but then after the first, you talk about playing aggressive. Like with that being said, I'll take a shot anytime I can take a shot. I think the big thing was, okay, we felt like we could possibly puncture. They did a good job of running the backer off the edge, man. And the guy makes a play for a loss. If you look at the front side, okay, if he can get out the front side, then it's probably a 15-yard gain. Instead, but it winds up being, like a 2-yard loss. Like on the second play, when you start to look at the clock, and the reality of it is, you're trying to bleed this thing and not leave a lot of time on the clock, hoping that you're gonna, get an opportunity. And then when you get the third down, you want to go take a shot down the field a little bit. I'll probably look at it again and say, yeah, I mean, that's what everybody does, right? The reality is we didn't get the game won, so it'll fall on my shoulders. I'm good.
Coach, obviously at the mid point of the season now through 6 weeks,
Mhm.
What's just kind of your main takeaway of what the team has to do moving forward to turn the tides a little bit?
Scoring points. We're getting defensive, stops, whatever that looks like. That this thing was built like that way on the front end, offensively, to allow these guys to do some things. And, I'll go back to why this game was the way it was and so close was because we didn't make a move in the first quarter when we had plenty of opportunities to. This game goes back to what happened in the first quarter, not so much what happened towards the end of the ball game. Not taking advantage of momentum, opportunity, and just the ability to sort of create some distance. It haunts you. So the things that you don't get done early are the things you pay for late.
Saw a lot of new faces today, especially freshmen, kind of get their first reps.
Yeah.
Is it open season everywhere at this point in the year for all positions?
Well, we've been traveling guys on special teams all year. There's maybe about 11 or so freshmen that travel, and some of those guys are going to have to play. I mean, you saw Chris Noble tonight, hop on the field and play. I mean, a lot of those guys are playing in special teams. They're athletic enough to play. Just trying to get the speed of the game to calm down for those guys, because you're going to need these guys, when it comes down to it. So nobody's off the table in terms of what it looks like, man. But we want to win. We just don't want to play guys, man. We want to put guys in position, man, where they can be effective, for this team.
On Monday, Coach, you said that you fully expected to see Jacob Clark, and Deuce Bailey got the start.
Yeah.
He played the way that y'all were expecting him to, and is that how y'all prepared?
Yeah, I mean, look, he took off and ran a couple of times, but he also made some good throws. They did a good job of early, like finding isolations. Like we were able to key in on that, like in the second half, and that's where you see, the totals come down. So I got to give, Coach Stu and that defensive staff like some credit just in terms of like what you saw, because they did some things with him in terms of the run game, the stretch, keep read, some of these things that like you expect, but you don't know how fast somebody is until you get on the field. I mean, and he was a hiccup guy. I mean, he can go beat. And a couple of times, man, and he took off for a couple of like nice runs. But I thought what you saw early or late was that we did a pretty good job of like caging a rabbit, making him play from the pocket, which is not his game. And, we keyed in on some of the run game, which, like we got some tackles for loss on some of that stuff. So, again, we just reeled it in. Being down some personnel, we reeled it in late, and that gave us an opportunity to get off the field and get the ball back.
You mentioned Abdul Muhammad leaving the game early. What's the status on him going forward?
Yeah, they'll evaluate him. He went off with an upper body injury, and so what we'll do is like evaluate here in the next 24 to 48 hours. And as you saw, he came back and he was on the sideline, and I'm hoping that he'll be okay. I talked to him after the game, and he seemed to be in solid spirits.
This season, you seem to be playing where at least you have a chance to make that winning drive and winning strike to win the game. But like you said, being close is not good enough.
Yeah.
What has to change for the team to win these type of games moving forward?
It's the execution, right? Third down, fourth down. Like I'm not going for it just to go for it, right? I'm going for it, man, because I mean, in my mind, okay, I mean, every opportunity on fourth down is 4th and 1, and we can get it. And so, man, you got to call it that way. But I mean, it's not just the way I feel. I mean, we all got to feel that way, okay? And I'm not saying that like people don't. I'm just saying, okay, man, when you play the game like this, you're playing for keeps. A couple of times, yeah. I mean, some people say, well, yeah, man, you probably could have kicked the field goal, but I just didn't think we were in field goal range at the time. I wanted to make sure that the field, I mean, in defense was playing well. So for me, I think it's just about like these opportunities that we have to maximize. We have to maximize our opportunities. And I think I've tried to show all year, man, that I believe in the group. You know, sometimes, man, when they're struggling, you got to show that you believe in them. Because if you don't, then they're never going to get it done, right? And so you just got to keep giving them opportunities. And when you do, you know, hopefully, man, they make you right. But again, I mean, those calls are on me, so I'll take the blame.
Anything else, Coach?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach.
Welcome back into the Blue Raider podcast. It is me, Jake Bolden. I'm joined by Brett Walker, our special guest for this week's preview of the first Conference USA midweek game. Blue Raiders fall short once again. Tough, really, all things considered. Much like the last home game against Marshall, you feel like you're marching down the field. You got an opportunity to actually win this football game, and you fall just short. 22. Took a path away 50-yard goal. I'm kind of at a loss of words. I have a lot of thoughts, but I don't know necessarily how to organize those thoughts. But Brett, I'll just kind of give you the floor and give you a chance to kind of divulge what happened there.
Yeah, I think it's like what Coach Mason said, Jake. Missed opportunities. It's plagued them all season, from week 1 against Austin Peay, last week against Kennesaw State, and then here tonight against the Missouri State Bears. I mean, it's been, whether it's, not converting on 4th down, settling for field goals in the red zone, or missing field goals like we saw at the end that you thought, you had a pretty good chance at making. It's just been those missed opportunities. It's just plagued them all year, and it's the reason they're 1-5.
And we heard in the post-game presser there difference from a lot of people kind of explaining what needs to happen. Diari said on the defensive side, it's communication. I know we previewed that, at some point we had to point the finger at defense, but tonight wasn't really that night. They were preparing for 2 quarterbacks. They got the more athletic Deuce Bailey, who really impressed with his legs. I mean, you could say his arm. He had great numbers over. Trying to find it here, but he passed for over 200 yards for a guy that didn't throw very particularly well against Western, but it was chunk plays. It was just giving up the big play. And so Diari pointed to communication as a big part of what causes those mishaps. And then Mason said a lot of it's execution. And it sounds like there's a little bit of, I guess, regret, if you will, in those last few play calls there, getting a little too conservative with not necessarily pushing the envelope to get in a better field goal position. So when your team isn't necessarily the best, those margins are super thin. They're razor thin. And games like this, it just happens. But unfortunately, you're 1-5. I'll go ahead and start moving this along, kicking it down. You got 2 weeks to rest up for Delaware. I guess from what we gathered today, what should we expect in that game?
It's a really unique situation. I believe it's the first time that they've ever played Delaware on the road. First, just like this week, first time Conference USA opponent. So in some ways you don't really know what to expect, but it seemed like each week the problems have been persistent with this team, whether it's the missed opportunities, lack of communication, poor execution. And so, it's this 2-week break is basically going to be, not to be hyperbolic, not to be hyperbolic, but it is a make or break point for the season, because it's just, if they can't rebound in this 2-week period, it's going to be more of the same. Is kind of the immediate aftermath feeling is kind of what I got right now.
Well, as we wrap up here, we do want to thank our sponsor, Trevor Haggard, because when life happens, you want someone in your corner who actually knows your name, and that's where Trevor Haggard and his team at State Farm comes in. Whether you're planning for your family's future, you're insuring your car, your home, Trevor Haggard at State Farm is the one to call. Don't just call some 1-800 number. Call Trevor Haggard or visit their website today at trevorismyagent.com to reach out to them. But as we wrap up this game here, Brett, to capitalize on what you're saying about Delaware, at this point, you just got to, I hate to be morale winners, but at some point, you just got to feel good about this football team. And for, once again, 55 minutes, I felt pretty darn good about this football team. All things considered, Missouri State, I think, is a good football team, but Delaware's even better. The schedule is going to get a lot harder because, again, we talked about, how good this conference season starts for the Blue Raiders. You get Kennesaw, their first-year coach in Jerry Mack, and then you get Missouri State, and now you're going to Delaware, again, a first-time newcomer. And then I think after that, you're just going, it's Jack State. It just becomes a gauntlet at that point. So to feel somewhat better, you've got to start mixing things up. Mason talked about playing a lot of new fresh faces, new freshmen, just seeing what works. And I think, again, as a fan, if you're watching, you want to feel that there's some sort of promise moving forward, especially with a lot of these younger guys. But Brett, I appreciate you joining us this week in all of our previews. Thanks to you for listening. If you're not already following our social medias at Blue Raider Pod, that's TikTok, Instagram, X, and of course, if you're listening to us on our live stream on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another one of our episodes. Bye week for us here at the Blue Raider Pod next week, but we will have a player exclusive interview, Tasia Frazier of the women's soccer team, so don't miss that, coming out Wednesday of next week.